Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. My name is Jules and I'm joined here by everyone's favourite resident horror, Ash Millman. Ash, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I thought you were going to call me a horror show, but...
You're just a horror in general, really. Your
spooky.
attitude stinks. Anyway, let's talk about something a little bit different today, because you might be wondering, hey, Jules and Ash, why are you standing here in front of this beach? And the reason is, my friends, is because A, we're on the green screen, so I can make the editor do whatever we want. Look, we're on the moon right now. That's pretty nice.
I'm in Delaware. Look at us in Delaware.
Yeah, but actually, it's also because of the fact that Ash and I were given early copies of Man of Medan to play, and we've both played it separately and together online, and now we're going to propose our review and first impressions to you lovely people today. But before we begin, because this is a video game that is just about to come out, there will of course be spoiler discussions, so if you want to avoid all of this, which we do kind of recommend that you do because it is best played without knowing too much, then you can skip to the end where we give our final impressions and review score for the game. So there we go, here it is. There's a little spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1, and we're beginning. Right.
That's the start.
It is a very interesting game.
Yes.
I feel like it tries to achieve, its scope is huge.
Yes.
Like the amount that it sets out for the player is really, truly impressive. Graphically, there are some really nice touches. Gameplay-wise as well, I feel like they've come a long way in what they want to achieve. But I do feel like Man of Medan is an experience that is short, mostly sweet, but I'm left wanting more.
It's got a few issues, and I think the main one is the length. I think the main one is that it's about 3 to 5 hours. If you're rattling through it, if you want to get through it, it's 3 to 5 hours max, really. And there's replayability in it. There's all the different branching avenues you can take with who dies and who doesn't, but that it is so small compared to their first outing of like Until Dawn previously, which
was about 8 to 10 hours, wasn't it? Maybe even
12,
more.
about 12,
which is pretty impressive for like a multi-tiered choice pattern game.
Yeah, and I think you've got to draw the comparison straight away because that was their first game. As much as they've tried to separate it and do their own things with this new Dark Pictures Anthology, which they're going to be releasing biannually.
To a year. For the next however many years, we don't know, but that means there's going to be a ton of content for this, so they better bloody hope that they get it right.
Which makes sense that they'd want to do smaller nuggets and then release them faster and quicker and that sort of thing. So I think tempering your expectations for how long it's going to be is the initial thing, because I was really disappointed when I hit the end, because I was like, oh,
yeah,
crap, I'd like to see some more, please. But yeah, we got to the end. And the branching narratives and stuff obviously suffer because there isn't as much story to do all the different things with.
Yeah, I totally agree. It does seem like their long-term game has possibly affected how their short-term product is being released. I would argue that after playing Until Dawn, which you've told me off camera is the best game of all time ever.
Yeah, I'll say it on camera as well. Best game of all time ever. My favourite game.
Honest to God, and you people like this woman?
I like you too.
I like you too.
There we go.
But that's fine. So it's a great idea what they've got with Until Dawn, and of course the comparisons are going to be drawn to it. But I feel like maybe them looking ahead at 5 years down the line and saying that this anthology is going to have like 20, 30 games in it, possibly might be kind of short-sighted, because this game here, it falls down mainly because of the fact it's a storytelling game that leaves you in the dark for a lot of the story.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that the story itself, the narrative, isn't interesting. It's very compelling, actually. Good. But I do feel like because of the fact we're constantly switching perspectives, we're not experiencing what's going on with the other groups, and when they suddenly arrive or something's happened to them off screen, it feels like you're being a bit cheated. Now I understand that there are lots of choices to be made, which means that you can fill in a lot of the blanks, but I feel like on the average playthrough, you're going to go there and be like, wait, what? Why are we here? Why did they say this? Like, why is this character suddenly here? Like, that makes no sense.
I had a couple of problems with that, but I think just to, because since this is the spoiler review, just to do the overarching narrative, you come along, you go on a boat trip with your pals. Initially, there's a prologue where it's World War II, the end of World War II, and two of your guys get onto a ship, and it's full of these like coffins. These mysterious coffins.
And then lightning and gas!
Whoa!
Deadly gas!
Deadly gas hits! And everyone goes, oh crap, and starts killing each other.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just smacked you.
Just like
starts
that.
Killing each other. And then it skips to the future. You're on this boat with all your friends. There's brothers and sisters, there's lovers, there's fighters, there's all sorts.
Those paradigms do not intersect.
Who knows? Who knows what choices you can make? But they're all together to go on this dive to find some secret treasure on the bottom of the ocean. With Fliss, the captain, who's doing the boat. She's trying to play things by the book. Everyone else is like, hey man, let's just go and find some gold. It'll be fun.
She's like, do not disturb this. It is a burial site. And what do? They disturb everything. They get their fingers right up in it.
Pies in them. But yeah, they go and do that. And then the crux of the narrative happens on the Man of Medan, which is the big ship, which you'll see in all the trailers and that sort of thing as well. So something happens, an event happens with another group. Your two groups intersect, and you end up finding the big ship, and you're on the big ship.
But it's
triangle. The film triangle. It's just a film triangle.
Very much. So. Yeah. The game takes place with you taking control of one of the 5 protagonists.
There's 5.
So most of the gameplay involves you switching between the 5 central protagonists as you try to keep them alive. And all of this is bookended by chapters where a narrator comes out and he basically says, oh, I'm very smart and I've got a lot of books. And did you manage to keep this person alive? Well, good for you. Oh, looks like your friend died trying to escape. Oh, well, isn't that a bit silly? And I'm just like, I wanted him to shut up so hard, especially when they do this thing when they go, oh, would you like to maybe have a crumb of knowledge going into the next chapter?
Sitting back for these, like.
Would you like to just ask me because I know everything? And then you just go, no thanks, I don't. And he goes, oh.
I always said yeah. I was like, yeah, go on.
Too good for you. Oh, sorry about that. And then when one of my characters died later on, he literally said, he goes, well, if only someone had listened. And I'm like, you bitch. Like, God damn you.
He is a massive, arrogant twat. But like, I think he works well. I think as a framing device that will come throughout all of these anthology pictures, he's great.
Yeah.
But I kind of preferred the wacky, like, psychiatrist from The First Until Dawn, where he's like, every time you turn a page, he's going, boo! Did that scare you?
Well, I think as well that psychiatrist actually grounded the game more into its tone, whereas this guy is basically like, he's an aloof and possibly omnipresent narrator.
He's God.
You don't feel, therefore, like you're really connecting with the source material because he's sitting there going like, I know what happens. I know
flip.
Whereas before, it's kind of like it was a horror themed and it made sense for you recounting your tale effectively to this psychiatrist. I feel like the game itself, it's actually really entertaining to play.
Yes.
But playing it is actually a bit of a chore. Does that make sense?
Disagree.
See, I found that the game padded itself out quite a lot.
Yeah.
Even the movement speed of your character is incredibly slow. Like, you will not find a moment where you're not holding down the run button, which is just a slightly quicker walk.
It's treacle. The walking is treacle, but I think that kind of helps for finding things. I enjoyed that the pace was set for you, that it was slow, because it helped build the tension, the horror, the slowness. If you actually have a run button and going, whoa, I'm running through the ship, that would ruin it a bit. So I think that the way that they have structured it is good. I didn't find it a chore to play. I found it a chore to go through and do all of the other branching narratives because I kept getting it wrong. But that's on me, not on the game. But yeah, I don't think that the actual gameplay itself it's too padded with the walking stuff, because there is loads of little clues you can pick up to learn what actually happened on the ship and how it all ties together. But it ain't quick. No,
I enjoyed as well, like you say, finding out more about what's going on outside of that, because once you get a greater understanding, it actually allows you to answer the narrative's question of what is actually going on here. I did find that sometimes the character animations were a bit clunky, like they're moving around like that. And I get that what they were trying to do is like build suspense and tension, but there is only so many times that you can have a character walk down a corridor and have a creaking sound in the background before it becomes almost normalized. And I felt like they, in some places, got the horror right. In some places, they got the horror quite wrong. And I would actually argue, and this might sound like I'm actually really negging on the game, but I really did enjoy my time when I was playing it. It's just upon reflection, I feel the overarching narrative of the gas making you go a bit crazy. For me, I was just a bit like, well, that means that none of these actions actually matter.
Yeah.
If I know that this person or crazy beast that is going to attack me is merely just a figment of my imagination, then it holds no threat to me, and therefore if I just choose my character to be like, oh, I've seen it before, mate, don't worry about this, then you don't actually risk losing anything. Whereas in Until Dawn, if you didn't do stuff, you would die.
They've tried to replicate the whole, is it a supernatural threat? Is it a physical thing? Is it like a crazy slasher? Is it the Wendigo thing that's going on in Until Dawn? They've tried to replicate this with, is it gas or is it like actual zombies or weird stuff like that? They've tried to replicate that sort of vibe again, and it just falls kind of short because it needs another red herring in there, I think, to kind of throw, like, they should have done more with the fisherman, who is the event.
They're the primary antagonists, effectively, because if everything else isn't real, then this is the one thing that's there. And like, I enjoyed their little introduction because it was like, they just want money, they want that, therefore their greed will lead you to have encounters. But every single encounter that I personally had when I was playing through the game against them was either resolved for me by having them die in cutscenes, or I never got to have any outcome or interaction with them where I could kill them or they could kill me. So I was like, oh, okay then.
That would be my main thing. I think that they should have been pulled in more as the more physical threat alongside this supernatural one. I agree. That's probably my main criticism. And I think that the way that the game comes together, because of these deaths in cutscenes and because of other stuff like that, if you have people die along the way, where Until Dawn succeeded in making things work despite who you had or not, Man of Medan falls apart because if you are missing people, you're missing information, and then it kind of skips through. And when you get to the end, there's just loads of pre-cut scenes where everyone's mourning for the people they've lost, and then move on and do something completely like
it feels
unconnected.
Jarring. A good example of this is that I managed to get one of the characters, I managed to rescue a ring that they could give back to them at the end to prove that they still loved each other. But literally the scene before that, she's like, oh, my brother is dead, I'm so sad, I'm so sad. And then it literally just cuts to her just going, I found the ring, by the way. And it's kind of like, oh, I guess we love each other now. So I was like, a tonal dissonance it appears in this game, but you have to admit that what they're trying to achieve, it was always going to happen to some degree, because you can't have this many branching paths without them overlapping and some being just dead ends and not working well with the others.
100%.
But that's enough of the sort of like criticisms. Let's talk about how much fun this game actually is, because one of the main features about this and the huge pushing point that they're doing is you should not play this alone, which confused us at first because we were like, well,
it's a horror game, it's spooky.
Now they've got two modes that you can enjoy with friends. You can either do a movie night mode, which does actually kind of explain the shorter play time because of the fact that you can experience it with a group in one session, which does make a bit more sense. But the other one is much more interesting, which has the other player directly controlling another character and also allowing them to make conversation choices that you don't get to make in the single player.
It's a way out, like the horror version, the online one.
I truly enjoyed it because we played it together, and even at the very, very opening, being able to control one character and then, because in the single player you were like, oh, this guy was a bit of an asshole to me when I said this. So it's like, well, you know what, I'm going to say this, which gave you different conversation options that you didn't even have in the single player stuff. So it means that potentially by playing it with a friend, you'll be able to unlock even more of the story and have a greater understanding of what's going on, and possibly even fill in a lot of gaps that maybe we're having problems with in the single player. Yeah,
it was a little bit janky, the multiplayer. We came into a couple of problems that will definitely be solved by patches, 100%. Like
they did say, like, that we have to express that our experiences probably won't be the same ones that you have.
So like, with the patching and stuff, I think it will be a really, really innovative multiplayer experience. The multiplayer is amazing. It's so good. Like we were on the phone the whole time, which obviously you're not supposed to do. We were like, what's going to do? What's happening here? And the different narratives you get out of it improves the replayability like tenfold, because you get the whole different experience. Like just for the opening with the Charlie and Joe, whatever they're called.
Oh yeah, and we did the boxing thing where you got your sort of palm read, and then we switched over and did the same thing. And I was like, oh, but we now get to understand what Joe's story was, because we don't get any of that in the single player.
Yeah, there's one guy you don't learn about at all, and he just kind of turns up and then goes away because it's the prologue. But you play it in two-player, you understand his whole side of it, which is really interesting. And maybe where our criticisms for the single player come from are solved in the multiplayer as well, which I think is a fair thing to say.
I mean, to be fair, the tagline for this game is don't play alone. They keep saying that, so it is definitely a major focus of it. I just think that it should have maybe a little bit more consideration could have been made. I'm not saying should have been made, but could have been made for the single player. But as it stands, in terms of what you get out of this game, you not only get a really fun experience that you can play with friends, you get one that you can play offline yourself as well if you want the sort of experience and do all the narrative journey stuff. You get a nice premonition gameplay aspect, which lets you look at paintings to see possible futures that you could try and not make happen because of the fact that if they do, one of your characters is going to die.
It's the same totem system as Until Dawn.
That's what it was,
but without like colour coding, so it's just the paintings, which I think is more interesting because you don't know what they mean, so you have to figure it out, and then sometimes it happens, you're like, oh, so that's the future.
I got exactly that when it was basically like I looked into a picture and it showed a character on a boat, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, so I should avoid this boat, or I should get to it, and when the boat scene finally happened, I was like, crap, damn it, they literally said this, they told me not to go for the boat, and I did it anyway. But I finished the game and immediately wanted to start playing again.
Yeah, I did. I played it over 2 days. So I played the first bit, had a big chunk on the first day, and then finished it on the second. And as soon as I finished it, I played it through again, literally instantly. So I think that says everything for how invigorating the story is, how engrossing the story is, and how much you'll want to learn everything about it, and how innovative it is as a game. Like, it definitely comes recommended. It's a good game. It just has flaws which need to be recognised.
That's a perfect point, because like a lot of our society will sort of deal in hyperbole. It's either the best or the worst, and it can never be anywhere in between. Or if it is in between, it can't be fun because there's too many problems with it. Whereas this game is still fun. It has flaws, but it's something of a building block for the rest of the anthology. Yeah. And I know that they have like put a lot of time and effort into this. It shows across the board, like the facial animations, the environment animations, weather, things like that. They look great for a game that doesn't have to look this good. And still it's telling a very interesting and engaging story. Yes, it has some flaws, but I personally would recommend it as well. But I would definitely recommend that if you do pick it up, then you should do it with a friend. Yes. I think that the game is tenfold better with another person there.
100%. Well, 100% is what I meant to say there. Multiplayer all the way. I think if you liked Until Dawn, you will like Man of Medan. You won't think it is as good as Until Dawn, which is a fair assessment, but it's an excellent stepping stone for the rest of the series. If this is where they're starting, it's going to be fantastic.
And we also have no idea where the rest of the series are going to take, because they have suggested that this is meant to be sort of more of a thriller, and they said that there's going to be some that are going to be very, very supernatural heavy. There's going to be some that are pure horror and stuff like that. So either way, it looks like we're going to be getting fresh and different experiences every single time, 2 a year. So in short, would we recommend that you pick up Man of Medan? Yes, but with friends. And as such, I would probably give this score out of 5. I would give it a 3.5. I feel like it is definitely above average, but possibly a few technical limitations hold it off from being an excellent game. Sound design as well, I know we haven't really discussed it much, was actually really, really good.
One more thing I should say.
Sure.
Very jump scare heavy. Very jump scare heavy. The natural horror of the situation and stuff is very good, very jump scare heavy. So, if you're a bit spooked easily, then you're going to have a lot of... I jump all the time and everything like that, so the whole time I was like, ooh.
It opens up a wider discourse on the ability to use horror in video games. I'm very much of a, I like my games to build suspense and then deliver on sort of smaller scares. But this one is very much a case of, you'll jump, but it's not really a fair game because the developer just goes like, bam, here's something, bam, here's a really loud noise, bam, like that, and you just kind of like, oh, okay, cool.
I enjoyed it. I think...
But trust me, with a group of friends, that's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. But with the whole movie night thing across the online connection, also very good. I think for me, a 3. I think
fair enough.
I'll chop the half off and just have it as a 3. So 3.25 average. There you go.
Which is not bad at all. So let us know down below if you're thinking about picking up Man of Medan, and if you've already got it or played it, what do you think about it as well? If you want to go follow us or chat more in general, you can do so at RetroJ with a 0 for myself and...
at Ash Millman.
Sorry, just deliver it. That's been our thoughts on Man of Medan. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.